But Jay Moore is en route to the studios in Lincoln. He joins us now. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your wonderful family, my friend.
Yeah, likewise. Same to you guys up in Omaha. Yeah, it's actually, we are bundled up this morning. We are shooting outside at Memorial Stadium.
Whose idea was that? Is that Gavin's idea?
You know what? It is. I'll give him. It is Gavin's, but all of the equipment is here for Nebraska Public
Oh,
Media.
that's right.
Handles all of state football. So we've done this. I think the last couple of years we've gotten away with it. I think 2 years ago it was pretty nice. Last year, freezing, and this year freezing again. Michael loves it. He's a sicko though. He loves being out there. I'm miserable. I hate the cold. He loves it. So yeah, we'll make it work. I'm bundled up. I got like 4 layers on, and I'll have gloves and an overcoat. So we'll make the best of it. Tough times don't last. Tough people do.
Bam. So with that said, smash, pass, or trash pumpkin pie?
I like pumpkin pie. It's like I can only eat it around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's like I don't eat a ton of turkey unless it's on a sandwich, but there's Thanksgiving food is like I feel like it's just Thanksgiving. I don't really eat mashed potatoes and gravy and turkey and stuffing and cranberry sauce any other time of year. So it's very appropriate for this time of year. But yeah, I like pumpkin pie, but it's not like give me my favorite's like a strawberry rhubarb pie. That's my favorite.
Ooh,
I have that like every day of my life. But yeah, I'll eat it. Yeah, some whipped cream on top. Yeah. I'd smash. Yeah.
Nebraska offensively, what was different? Just pure execution, play choice, guys making plays. Wisconsin, what was different to score 44 points?
Yeah, I think a lot. I think there was a little bit of everything. I think this is week 2 of obviously Holgerson being at the helms calling plays. Obviously his third week being in the stadium and being around the guys. So you kind of, if you want to equate that to the first year of the season, a lot of times your biggest jumps from week 1 to week 2, then week 2 to week 3. But I think you kind of heard him say that he simplified a lot of stuff heading into when he got here. He said the playbook was very deep, complicated, a lot of NFL concepts. Guys are playing multiple positions. I get it. I understand that. You can be as complicated as you want, but if your guys can't comprehend and execute on the field, you're doing them harm. You're not doing them any good. So I think he came in and said, listen, he said, if I can't understand and comprehend these things, how are my guys supposed to do it on the field full speed against another opponent when they're tired in the fourth quarter? So I had to pare stuff down. I think you saw that. I think guys you saw are playing quicker. Dylan seems like he's processing information so much quicker. Guys are open. They're kind of taking what the defense is giving them. Not a lot of deep shots down the field. More intermediate stuff. You're just getting the guys who are open and get them in space and let your athletes go make plays. So I think it's a little bit of everything, but I think I think simplifying it for the most part is probably, it's amazing. You just, it's a KISS rule, right? Keep it simple, stupid. And unfortunately in this business, in college football and football in general, coaches have egos and they like to make things complicated to show how smart they are. And even if they understand it, it doesn't matter how much you understand it. Your players better be able to understand it. And obviously there was a lack of understanding, a lack of communication to have them get over that hump to understanding it. And I obviously the way they performed and on Saturday against Wisconsin, I think it's a pretty damn good defense. I liked where things are headed.
Jay, it just seems like it was a lot of paralysis by analysis, but in simplifying it, it almost found some swagger to them. I mean, I know scoring helps, but it's just a different mentality, it seems like, from this team.
Yeah, it does. I think when you have success and when you finally get it, it's amazing what that does for confidence. And when you struggle and you can't put drives together, you can't put points on the board. Your field goal kicker is struggling to make kickers, and he's obviously done a complete 180 since the Ohio State game. And that's helped the offense as well. But having guys, when you simplify things and your wide receivers are just, whether the X, the Z, the tight end, you're the Y, you're your job, your role. and you want to do that and understand it and do it to your best of your ability. And sometimes when you are asked to do a lot and you're hesitant, gosh, I don't have a full grasp and concept of what exactly I'm asked to do because there's so much to it. And I think when you pare things down, simplify it, and you get success, obviously at a pretty quick rate here in the second game with Holgerson, you're going to have confidence. You're going to show excitement. You're going to show enthusiasm. And the best part about it, once you get these results, you finally get the results going through all the process that we've talked about so much, you're gonna want to do it even better because you got the taste of success and you're gonna want more. So I think that's going to breed some pretty important play calling, execution, all those things, in the next 2 games that they'll have the rest of the season.
Hey, we focus on the quarterback and what Emmett Johnson did on Saturday, the wide receivers, what they're doing at tight end, where Lindemeyer and Borkature was getting more run on Saturday. What effect do you think it's been on the offensive line? Because I think under Matt Rule, in terms of being consistent, this is 2 really good back-to-back games against USC and Wisconsin that this offensive line has done. What is the Dana effect on the offensive line, Jay?
Yeah, it's I don't know if offensive line wise. I mean, you have your protections, right? Whether you have your run game, you have counter, power, duo, inside zone, outside zone, stretch. Those are the same kind of concepts. Pass pro wise, you have slide protections left and right, and you have man on one side, zone to the other. So those things are pretty constant within an offense. The route stuff and combinations and what's being called. They're not really paying attention to that. They're just hearing protections. They know, depending on what front they get, they're executing. I think what's helped them is the ball's getting out of Dylan's hands much quicker. So that helps because guys are able to think quicker, receiver-wise, get open. Dylan's able to find the guy. So, and then you're able to get confidence because what happens then as a defense, you start getting frustrated as a defensive line when you're like rushing the passer and you can't get there. And you're getting close, but Dylan's able to get the ball in his hands, and then you're able to throw some wrinkles of the run game in there, and you start gashing them. You start frustrating the defensive line. So offensive linemen can notice that, and they can feed off of that. So I think they're just putting them in giving them in the best situation. Listen, the ball's coming out. Offensive linemen can't protect forever. The ball has to be gone in 3 seconds, ideally. Otherwise, it's usually bad things happen. So I think just with that, the offense running more efficiently, I don't think anything's changed schematically. Mm-hmm. I just think this offense is just producing more in the pass game, and because the success in the intermediate pass game is opening up the run game. I think the run game holes they've been there. I think we've discussed that before. Most of the year, Emmett's finding them. Dowdell's done a better job of finding those creases and those holes, and like I said, this offensive line has performed pretty darn good all year. I know the offensive line always gets the majority of the blame when the offense is going well, but I've tried to protect them and stand up for them. I thought they've been done pretty darn good, but I think now everyone's kind of on the same page offensively, and you see what happens when it doesn't take much. It just takes a little bit, and all of a sudden, boom, production and points start showing up.
And this as a black shirt, once that offense is clicking as a defense, you guys go to another level because you feed off everything, if not just your teammates, just the extra energy in the crowd.
100%. It's college football is so much about momentum. And this defense, I know they have their issues, especially in the back end. But when you've had to play so perfect, you've never won a football game until the Wisconsin game, where the opposing team has scored more than 14 points. That just from top down, from Tony White through your rest of your defensive staff to your players, you just know that you have to be perfect, and you want to be perfect. You're going to try to be perfect, but when your offense can now produce, and if you screw up and you let a big play happen, your offense is going to have your back, and that's complementary football. And that's what's been missing from this team these last 2 years is the defense has really been holding their end of the bargain, but the offense really hasn't. And it's hard to win football games in a lot, 6+ football games when your offense struggles. So hopefully the defense can clean some things up on the back end and know that, hey, we can take some chances. We can do some things. We don't have to be perfect. We know our offense can go out and get us you know, 4 or 5 touchdowns a game, and we can go do our thing. But yeah, that's getting that momentum going is special. You step out there and the offense is moving the ball, they're getting points, they're getting field goals, and you can ride that wave of the momentum that the offense provides.
Jay Moore joining us. Let's talk about defense because they're going to face Caleb Johnson. But Iowa's offensive line, watching them, and they're better than they've been of late. And that's they took a step back from an elite offensive line group year after year. They play better at home than they do on the road. If you're Nebraska and you're a defensive lineman, and we know that's where the game's going to be won, how do you approach this knowing that Iowa is extremely limited in the passing game and they're going to do exactly what they are built to do, and that is run the football right at you?
Yeah, I love this opportunity for this defense. They didn't. I think Iowa almost ran the ball 60 times against Maryland just this past week. You know what you're getting. You know what's going to happen. And it's just with Iowa in general. I know they got a different coordinator now, but they love the outside zone, inside zone. They're going to get your power, and they're going to run some play action off of it. Obviously, QB has their issues, but Caleb Johnson, other than Genty at Boise State, I mean, they're 1-2 in the nation. I mean, Caleb Johnson is the real deal. So, but I think for Ty and Nash and Jamari, this is a game you're just licking your chops because man, just line me up, let me go toe to toe, let me get my technique, my pad level right, my hand placement. I'll start button pressing offensive linemen, getting off plays, getting off blocks, and start making some plays. So this one is, you should have this one circled because you know what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. And with how good Kirk Ferentz is and coaching offensive line and the pedigree that Iowa normally does have, I know it hasn't been the same, but you can make some money on Friday night if you perform well and you shut Caleb Johnson down. You're gonna have to tackle well. Secondary is gonna have to tackle better. Isaac Gifford's gonna have to come down in the box, and he's gonna have to tackle better. You're gonna have to communicate well, and then they're gonna lull you to sleep a little bit on some of these run plays. But then when they run those play action boots and they run some max protect and they're throwing 2 people out in the route, you're gonna have to communicate and get your eyes in the right spot because our eyes have been bad too. So this is a D-line game, and this is a play with good eye discipline. And making sure you're reading your keys on those play action passes because Nebraska hasn't been good in those scenarios. But I like Nebraska's chances defensively in this game because all you got to do is stop the run. And if you can do that, you got to like your chances Friday night at Kinnick.
Gary said 19 degrees at kickoff. Now, it. You've played in all that kind of stuff. Do we make more of that than it is? And if not, what is the biggest key to overcoming that and just going and playing the game?
Yeah, I think you don't make much of it. I mean, I've played in plenty of cold games. I don't know if there's anything colder than the Big 12 championship game in Arrowhead in 06. I mean, I think it was 0 degrees at kick. I mean, that place, it was cold. Once you're playing, you don't notice it. I think it's probably more on the receivers and the quarterback. That ball gets cold. That leather gets hard. It gets a little slipperier trying to grasp it. I'm not too concerned. I think, we've had cold temperatures. I'm sure they're practicing out, I'm 100 yards away from where they're practicing. They're probably outside right now. And it's, it's not 19, it's 32, but it's cloudy and got a little breeze. So it's not, I'm sure there'll be guys out, pregame with their shirt off, showing how tough they are, but it's really nothing. Once you get going, that your heart gets pumping. It's really no different than if it was 75 degrees or 10 out. They'll be just fine.
Yeah. Hey, great stuff. Have a great show this morning, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And enjoy Friday night, and we'll chat next week.
All right, thanks, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
That's Jay Moore, black shirt, the pride of Elkhorn.